Welcome, Sacramento soccer fans, to the State of the Republic podcast. I'm your host, Luis, and in today's episode, we have a few things to talk about. First things first, we're going to actually interview Marek Albert, Stockton Cargo head coach, and Hannah Diaz, general manager for Stockton Cargo. Talk about the yard, what that's about, also about last season for Cargo and what to expect this season. We'll also talk about our new Sac Republic midfielder, defender, Aaron SL. As we mentioned, they usually announce players after we record a podcast, and this wasn't the exception. So we'll see who they introduce tomorrow or during this week if there's another player leading up to the first game of the season. We'll talk about the last preseason game that the team played against Colorado Springs. And then, of course, we'll talk about the news that Sharon hinted at last week that was announced literally hours after we posted the last podcast, which is our new Sac Republic president and general manager, Tim Holt. Sharon knows him well, so she'll tell us a little bit more about Tim. And then, of course, you guys have been waiting for it since it ended last season. Podcast Winner Dinner is back. So we'll give our predictions for the overall season picks, and then, of course, our prediction for the first week game against FC Tulsa. So we'll be talking about that more towards the end of the podcast. We got a full house tonight, but first, since he wasn't around last week, but he's now, of course, back because he was on a bus ride, let's go over to Texas with Jared. How's it going, Jared? Welcome back.
Feeling much better compared to last weekend, but all that means is even closer to season opener. We're already in March, which is the goated month as well. You got St. Patrick's Day, March Madness, my birth month, and of course this USL season finally opening after a lengthy off season. So I would love to get into it, but of course we also have special guests that we want to pick their brains at as well. So it's going to be a jam-packed podcast episode today.
Yeah, a lot going on in today's episode. All right, now next, let's go over to Elk Grove with Sharon. How's it going, Sharon?
Hi, thanks for having us, and thanks for hosting, Luis. All good. Can't wait to get into it. Can't wait to chit-chat with Marek and Hannah, and then also getting Rian on the podcast and to hear his giggle and his predictions. You know, I have been chomping at the bit to hear his podcast winner. I mean, you guys, yes, both of you as well, but mostly Rian, because we know he won it last year, and I'm still sore. Okay.
Well, he's not going to win it this year. Then, although he's going to say otherwise now. But let's go over to Natomas with Rian. How's it going, Rian?
Guys, it's already set in stone. I'm going to win this year, next year, the year after that. Might as well just make a permanent spot for the trophy, right in this background, But yeah, it's going great here. I'm drowning in preseason stuff, getting everything set up for, oh my God, it's less than a week now for the Republic. But yeah, happy to be talking more Republic with y'all. Happy to be talking about the Stockton Cargo. And yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, no, it's officially soccer season, right? I mean, we're starting the week, USL W in May. You got League 2 as well. Lots going on. This is the time we like the most. All right, y'all. Well, as we mentioned, we want to start the podcast here to welcoming our special guest today. They're going to be talking a little bit more about Cargo season and also about something new they're presenting, which is called the Yard. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce Marek Albert, Cargo head coach, and then Hannah Diaz, general manager from Stockton Cargo. First, let's go over with you, Marek. How's it going? Welcome to State of the Republic.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here. I know we're kind of like distant cousins because we're way down here in Stockton. You guys are kind of up there in the big city of Sacramento, but we're happy to be here and looking forward to having the conversation today.
Yeah, actually, we're a little bit all over the place. So, like, I'm in Modesto, Sharon's in Elk Grove, Jared's in Texas, and then Rian's over in Sacramento as well.
So we probably have less people here than at Galt. I mean, we're lucky to get about 13,000 people here. So
okay. Okay. Well, we gotta do a little bit better on our cargo stuff. So we'll start to get some merch around so we can throw it in the backgrounds of your Republic. So we won't even get on Ryong. We already know what's going on over there, but it's okay. It's our first time meeting, and it will be better for the future. I know.
Yeah, Rian likes to collect jerseys, so I'm sure like he'll definitely wear it. Once he gets hold of the jersey, he'll be wearing it throughout the season.
Good man.
And next, Hannah Diaz, general manager from Stockton Cargo. And if you guys watch the games, you also recognize her because she also like played with the team in previous seasons. So welcome to the podcast, Hannah. How's it going?
Hi, happy to be here. Good to see you guys. Long time no see.
Oh yeah. No, we're really excited to again hear more news about what you guys have going on. And I guess I'll get us kick started here. I want to know a little bit more about the yard. This announcement that you guys kind of teased out, and then you like fully released more about that. Like, just tell us more about what to expect and what you guys have planned.
Yeah, so the yard has basically become a cargo community space. It really took off last season. Before our games, we try and present basically a tailgate like you would see at any other sporting event, but we make it our own. So lots of booths, lots of food vendors, music, games for kids. This year, we're going to have a lot of competitions, those sort of things, but we're trying to make it space for Stockton to come, not just for soccer. So small businesses, really good food, family environment, and make it its own separate entity. You know, a lot of people show up for sports games just for the game. In women's soccer, it's hard to always do that. So instead of saying, how can we sell more tickets? It's how do we bring more value to our games and for our fans? And that's the idea behind it.
So I just got to say, I think that's fabulous. I know I've attended the Storm games in Davis, and it's so much fun because there's almost like a miniature carnival going on behind the scenes. You know, the game is happening, but near the game, it's like they have a yard. They have like this large grassy area. And if you're doing something similar to that, more power to you. And I really appreciate that because it really does make makes the day more fun, you know, especially if you show up early. You know, the fact that, and okay, so this is the year I turned 70, Hannah. And I am still the person that when they run around after scoring a goal and they throw candy into the stands, I'm on my hands and knees in the grass grabbing the candy. It's like all of a sudden I am not my age. So I think what you're doing is right up the alley of what people enjoy when they go out. They like seeing people and they like supporting businesses and doing all those things. So that's really cool. What a step.
Yeah, and typically, you know, at women's soccer games especially, you see a lot of families and children, which is fantastic, and we want to feed that model. But there's also a lot of space where we can bring in, you know, different sections of the community. So through our themed game days, whatever we decide is the theme, we can curate that yard space around that theme. So we're going to have a lot of different types of people out there, and not just the soccer community, but bringing more people into the soccer community is kind of the idea.
The goal was really for us to try to make it more than just soccer, you know, especially on the women's side of the game. Unfortunately, no matter how good the women are, it's not as big of a draw, right? And even with the success that we had last year and the growth, I think this kind of taking up the tailgate space and creating that environment for people makes it more than like I'm just coming to watch a women's soccer game, right? I'm going to have a great time with my family and my friends. We get to hang out. And then if I just so happen to go watch, you know, these great women do something special, you just, you know, a couple steps that way. So we definitely are looking forward to providing this environment for everybody in the community, especially not just Stockton, but like a lot of the 209. You know, I think it's important that there is more kind of positive spaces for people to kind of step into.
Now, tell us more like where's the spot going to be at? Like
So-
exactly
So previously, our tailgate when we were playing at UOP, so University of Pacific in Stockton, their soccer field is perfectly adjacent to a big parking lot, and we would take up that parking lot and use that as our tailgate. This year, we're switching over to St. Mary's High School. They hosted us for playoffs last year, and they were super, super great with us. We work well with the community there. They're really excited to have us. And they also have a really good section right out in front of their football stadium. It's almost like a bus pull up with the parking lot attached to it. It's perfect space, and there's plenty of other parking lots on campus that aren't far either. So it's right there, right from the field. So at both spaces, both last year and the previous year and this year, you'll still be able to see the game from where you're at. And that's kind of ideal for us. We don't want people to have to leave what they're doing in the yard to watch the game, but we also want people to feel the energy of both things going on at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I'm glad that you guys are, I guess, not staying too far from where the other stadium was at. And then previously Delta, you guys are still keeping to that same area, right? Which is, I feel like, I mean, some of the busiest spots in town, right? Because you have a lot going on there around the mall area.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're kind of hitting all the spots. Like we got Delta, we got UOP for a little bit. We're getting St. Mary's. They're going to try and keep us there, but we'll see. Maybe we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I mean, someday it would be nice to have like your own stadium too. I mean, that would be amazing.
That's ideal. That's ideal. You're getting a little ahead of us, but that's ideal.
I know if I was talking to Lee here, he'd be already like going real far, right? With it being like, oh yeah, we'll have a 15,000 seater stadium.
I'll give you a date and a time for that to be up. Yeah.
Well, I know you guys have this initiative where you guys are looking for an artist, right? So just tell us more about what you're looking for and where this art piece would be at.
Yeah, so we're right now taking submissions that are just sketch work, super simple stuff, just to give us an idea of the artwork. But we're basically looking to create a type of billboard that we can set up at the yard. So whether it's a mural, it's a sign, whatever it is, very Stockton forward, letting the artist run with it. We've already gotten some submissions, which is really cool. But just something that we can prop up and make sure people know this is the gathering space. This is a heart of it, nothing like a photo op in this day and age. So it helps.
Oh yeah, especially with people sharing things or taking videos. It's great. Hopefully it's on TV as well. As the games are broadcast, that'd be a cool thing. Tell people, hey, come by and take a picture here. So that would be great.
We're working on the TV stuff. We're doing well, but we're not on TV, mainstream yet. But we have our few kind of platforms that we use. Obviously, the Central Valley TV we use on Facebook. We obviously have our own YouTube channel that we are also going to try to push our streams through if we can, and if not, maybe upload the games after the fact. Obviously you have Sports Engine is the normal platform, but there's clearly some issues sometimes using those things, so we try to provide as much as we can. If we can get the news to come out or some broadcast to pick us up for one or two games during the season, it's progress, right? We don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we also want to make sure that we're progressively moving forward and kind of bringing more to the region.
Yeah, YouTube would be great, right? To be able to do some good like broadcasting there. I mean, it takes me back to the early Sac Republic days when they were on YouTube, easily accessible for everyone. Now, sadly, I mean, there's private interests and it's a little different, even though it is out there in public, but there's nothing like being on YouTube. I mean, anyone, doesn't matter where you're at, you could broadcast to a TV. You don't need to download anything else, right? And most TVs already have YouTube anyway. So
yeah.
So that would be great. Now, let's talk about the team this season. You guys started in May. Tell us more, like what are some things that people can expect this season? Maybe new players, like returning players. Like, let's talk about the team.
Well, to be completely fair to the team, the successes that we had last year, is really what, kind of breeds us into this year. And it's a little bit different than, as you see here, the underdog empire. A lot of people have a tendency to say, well, once you win, you're no longer an underdog. Well, for us, it's just kind of the mentality of where we are, right? We're a smaller city, don't necessarily have as much, right? And a lot of the players that we like to bring in, no matter where you're from, right, still trying to focus on the Central Valley, but no matter where you're from, is to kind of have that chip on your shoulder, have a little bit of the underdog in you, because you don't really want a prima donna when you're, as a fan, watching a player and they're crying for a foul. You want to see them kind of get after it. You want to see them have some fun while they play. And so we like to play a very free and progressive style, which allows each of the players to have their own identity on the field. And the beauty of the game is how it comes together cohesively. That's what the excitement is. And I think the team, hopefully, right, will embody that this year as well. We have a very large returning class of what we had last year. So that will obviously be very good for us in keeping the core. We'll be bringing in a few players, from different places and different teams that have obviously seen what we did last year, that said, hey, you guys did well. You had an undefeated season, but they have no idea what it took or what happened before, right? You just see where we are now, and that's a positive step, but it also shows that, there is a space for it, and it doesn't really matter where you are as long as you're doing the right things. And we've had 4 players, if I'm not mistaken, last year who stepped off from our team and gone and got pro contracts that are, playing somewhere. So that's a positive thing. And we're just trying to be progressive in that manner. Outside of those players, we're pretty much returning the whole team, barring a few that are going on to, focus on their careers as they graduated masters and moving on that part of the game. And bringing in young talent. We have young talents like Janelle Villagrán, who's from the area, right? First in her family to go to college, goes to UOP. She played with us as a senior in high school, right? Preparing her for UOP, and she's coming back. So that's also a great thing for the 209. You've got young Camila Campos, who to most people, unless you're in that Central Valley, right, you don't really know unless you're playing in her age group, but she's on the Mexican youth national team, right? And she's been playing with us since she's been 15. So it just kind of shows you what we are trying to do in our area and the pockets that we have of bringing in young talent, also trying to help them develop, right? Introducing them to, the next steps of where they're trying to go, and also bringing in senior players and players who've been there and done that, right? As modest as Hannah is, she's played all over. She's played in the NWSL, she's played in Japan, she's played in France, right? And so even though now she doesn't consider it as, I'm playing because I'm not playing at that level, right? But she's still playing, and all of those skill sets that she has and her experience is a benefit to a young player, right, in the region. And those are the spaces that we're able to create with players like her that are willing to come in and kind of share their experiences. So we're expecting a positive outcome. I don't really like to promise outcomes. What my biggest thing is just creating the space for the players to have the success. And I believe that you are a product of your environment. So if you come in and you do the work and we do well, then the wins just consequently follow. All right. That's just kind of what happened last year. We didn't go into it saying, hey, we want to be undefeated. It just kind of was like, this is the space, this is what we're doing. And we happen to have a very successful season.
So, Marek, speaking of your successful season, all I know is every time you guys won, you literally tripped Lee out because he would do these amazing social media posts. I think you guys shocked him every single time, but you knew what you were doing. The team knew what they were doing, but Lee would, what is the feed off that you get when Lee, does what he does? Because he's the best cheerleader anyone could ever ask for.
I will say that Lee is 100% or 200% the best cheerleader that you can have as an owner, that supports a team. And, it's funny because the start of the season, you know, I sat down with Lee and I'm like, what do you want, Lee? Like, what do you want out of the season? What are you expecting? Where are you trying to go? Right? Because for me, it's like, we need to be on the same page. And he's like, well, you know, I want to make the playoffs. You know, I'd love to win the league and all these things. And at that time, prior, it was 2 teams that went through, right? This year, it had changed to 1 team. So I'm like, well, okay, Lee, I understand where you want to go. I know what I would like to do. And obviously, we're in the same line. But I'm going to need you to take a step back and just let me run with this thing, right? Because the truth is you got to let the team try and figure it out along the way. And he did, and that's what I think was a little different, because he was used to being, you know, hands in the dough, just kind of, you know, forming it and doing it. And this time he took a little step back and was kind of watching. He's like, I don't really know what's going on, but I know that we're doing good stuff, right? And then we start winning, and it's like, oh, we're winning. Okay, I like this. Like, I was expecting us to win, but I didn't know how much we were going to win and how far we were going to go. And so those kind of moments for us were special. Those times where, you know, we beat Storm last minute and Lee's running across the field, you know, the social media stuff that we did during that time too, you know, is also important for us, because it's entertainment. And to me, it was kind of a give back to Lee, to be fair, because of all that he's done for the region and all that he's continuously trying to do and pushing that forward. And, you know, he doesn't say it, but it was also kind of a tribute to his mom. You know, we know that she's passed, and it was really like, Lee, this is for you. You know, this is for her. I know she's not here. And, you know, Hannah and the team did a great job. She painted a mural for him, and the team signed it. And it was just something special this year. But I want to give some space for Hannah to give her perspective, as obviously being a part of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, I joined the team 2024. So I was fresh off of playing overseas. I had just retired. And I joined the team. I knew I wanted to play still, because I had a good body. Thankfully, I didn't have to retire because of injury, which is a lot of my colleagues' way of ending their seasons. But I came to Stockton after talking to a few of the other USL W teams, actually, because I had known a lot of them. I actually played for Storm in high school growing up. You know, I was an NorCal kid, so went to St. Mary's, that whole thing. And so I actually got a phone call from the old general manager, Adrian Sorensen, who's now one of the ownership members. And she was like, let me just have coffee with you. Let's just talk a little bit. We know some of the same people. And what she described to me was what I got that next season, which was basically just a bunch of girls that have never been told that they're good enough, and they finally get the space to be good enough. And so that first season was just kind of getting my feet wet, you know, letting them know who I was and that they could rely on me. And then this next season, it was just like maybe 11 to 12 of the same players that finally found their stride. So it was like all these players that were building confidence the past year. And then it was like we all just came together at that moment, and we all knew each other so well, and we could rely on each other. And that's not what you get in a summer team. And so, you know, after our last game, Marek wouldn't know this because he was not on the field. He got a red card our last game. But we all came together. It was obviously the end of our season, and every single one of the girls was in tears, crying, whatever. And I looked around and I said, have any of you, I mean, I was a pro for 8 years. Have any of you been part of a team for 2 to 3 months and it felt this good? And nobody could say they had, you know? So it wasn't about, oh, we just got lucky and we won some games. It's like, no, we created a space for these women to figure themselves out. And they took a lot of joy and value from that. And like Marek was describing with the way we set up our team, it's the same thing with our community programs. It's all the same, where whatever value we're taking, let's put out more value, because that's the way that it should be running. And we just luckily got to see the tangible success of that last year. Not all the time do you get to hold on to like the actual fruits of your labor. But hopefully we're going to do that again next year.
Yeah, and you guys having like players come back and like a consistent team, I think it's always a good formula, right? You just bring the same players, they know each other well, like you don't have those issues, and you just have some new players who are just gonna adapt to the system, right? So
Well, the beauty of that is most people play a formation or a particular style. We don't. I guess my approach is you can't really build a formation or a style unless you know your team. All right. You got to know the players. You got to know their individual kind of identity, their creativity, what they like to do. Right. And then build something that allows them to be themselves. Right. A lot of times we take some of the creativity out of it by putting you in a particular 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. And, I'm giving you little things that you can do instead of really giving me the freedom to kind of be like, hey, I know how to play. Right. How do I need to play with her who's next to me? How do I need to play with that player who's up there? What are we trying to do? And so, uniquely, I guess my first year coming in, which was Hannah's first year, I only came in as the technical director. And to be fair to them, I always tell them I never wanted to coach adults. I've never wanted to coach adults. I've worked with kids. I love developing kids because they have a dream and a passion to want to be at the level that these players are. And when you coach adults, they kind of have this like, oh, I'm already good enough because I'm at this level, right? And nothing bad against them, but to me, it's a lot of trickery instead of just being like, I want to get to this level. And to be completely honest, I fell in love with the players who bought into really wanting to get better, right? But that first year, we played a 3-5-2. Nobody was playing three in the back. Everybody looked at us like, what are you doing? There's no way we could play three in the back. We had a team full of midfielders. What else are we going to play? Right? Like, other than that, you've got players sitting on the bench who are just mad that I'm here. And why am I playing for a team where I don't get to play? So we learned how to play three in the back. We learned how to play 3-5-2. We played that system. And, for them not even being able to play that system, they actually had a lot of success in it. And a lot of teams couldn't figure it out. And even though it went through its ebbs and flows like anything it does during the season, we were able to kind of find that success. And this year, we ended up playing a 3-4-3 and diamond in the middle, right? And look what happened. Right. Those things just kind of happen based on the characteristics of players like Hannah and everybody else who's there. And it's not just them. It's the supporting staff. It's all the people invested in the players and trying to help them, get to the best of their abilities. And so it's hard for us when you say, what's your style? What do you do? Here's a system. Here's the basics of the game. Here's the freedom, like the Brazilians. I was a Brazilian lover for a very long time. All right. And I feel like the game has gotten away from that and you get sparks of it here and there, but that's the root. That's the beauty of the game. And that's what we try to kind of bring in on the women's side. And that's what's more entertaining.
I'm loving hearing all this stuff because I nerd out when you guys start getting into the details of, the type of players and the what system you like to play and how you built it. And I think it's important for people to hear these kinds of conversations that show how the shape is going on behind the scenes and the thought process of y'all. I think that's no, people don't know always what goes on behind the scenes, what goes on in your heads, the heads of the GM and the head of the coach. We just basically, we end up seeing the product on the field, or we see what's on social media or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I value the conversation that you're bringing to the table. And I know, okay, so truth be told, Rian is he does deep dives on a lot of data and analysis of players and systems. And I'm waiting for him to ask one of the harder questions of you guys.
Well, before Ryong asked me a question, if you're my stat man, why are you wearing a team that didn't even get out of their bracket? That's my number one.
Okay, I mean, here's the thing. I do love crazy kits. Like, okay. I do love the numbers, but I do love a crazy kit design, and Seven Bay has a crazy kit design. So, that's why I have their uniform.
Okay. I'm not mad at you. I was just, I can appreciate it.
That's completely fair. So for me, I don't have a lot of data right now, but I'm just really curious. From your first trip into the postseason for the in the USLW, are there any lessons that you took from that postseason, and then are you going to use those to try and grow into this new season?
I gotta know why they both started laughing.
You know what? I'm gonna answer after. I'm gonna let Hannah talk first from her perspective of what she went through, and then I will give you what my perspective was.
My first thing I would like to learn from in the postseason of the USLW is to create a nest egg of $10,000 plus and understand that the league's not going to pay for anything and they're going to ask you to host. That's why we started laughing. No, that was just turmoil that we dealt with for a little bit, but it got figured out. I think that last year, the biggest thing that the girls learned, at least, was how do we take care of our bodies properly, playing that many games in such a short amount of time. And especially being in the Northern California division, you're playing 3 to 4, sometimes 5 more games than every other team in the league nationally. So you're meeting up with teams in playoffs that have so much life left in their legs, which is difficult to do, especially when you're an undefeated team. There's that weighing on you as well. But other than that, I think we had it. I really do. And there's some unfortunate things that are out of our control, but I think the girls understood what they needed to do better. And that was mostly body recovery, really focusing on that, which is not something you're expected to do in the summer normally. So learning curve, that's all.
My 2 cents is have somebody else speak for you when you want to talk to refs, so I don't get the card, when they're a bit sensitive. That honestly was a whole other debacle. I don't want to get, bore you with all the details, but I learned a lot more of like how people say they want to treat the game or treat players or run an organization compared to what it actually is. And instead of kind of putting a spotlight on those people, they know who they are, because that's kind of the position we take. Again, when you say behind the scenes, me and Hannah have been the voice for a lot of things with the USLW, and they don't necessarily like us as much because we point out a lot of flaws and issues, just because the point is to help the players and to move the league forward and, create a space for those things. And if we're not doing that, what are we really doing? Right. And again, I got no skin in the game. I'm not even a woman. Right. So sometimes it's like, what is this guy doing trying to help the women's game? And it's like, the game is the game. It doesn't matter whether it's male or female. But other things I learned, obviously, kind of staying on top of players to take care of their body. Since that, Hannah has gone out and kind of found us somebody to help with that this year, to better prepare the players throughout the season, to help us make sure that they can maintain their bodies, that they can maintain the strength, the fitness. A lot of those things kind of go kind of unnoticed because most players don't understand not only just nutrition, but like, how do I maintain my fitness? How do I maintain strength when I'm playing, so consistently? Other things I learned from postseason is you cannot get so caught up in the emotion of the moment sometimes. And that is a hard thing for me, just because as a player, I was very passionate and played that way. And I'm the same as a coach. And it's not to say that you can't be passionate about the game, but when the games start, for me, my mind is very clear. When things start to get out of control because people are not doing their jobs, you're taken away from players who have worked super hard to get there. And that, for me, is when it becomes a little bit like you're not doing what you're supposed to, because whether we win or lose should be based on how the players perform, not based on somebody else kind of influencing that. And it's the game of soccer. We got humans doing jobs, right? There's a margin of error. We're okay with that, but I always just ask for a little bit of consistency from whoever the parties are. Just be consistent. If you're consistently bad, be consistently bad. So the players know that you're just going to be bad. So you're going to call everything. I know ref's going to call everything, whatever it is, right? Outside of that, to be honest, Ryong, I didn't really have a lot of lessons, to be fair. I think we did a very good job throughout our season for the players, and we had a lot of times where we had a lot of fun. We didn't really kind of put our nose in the ground and kind of get stuck in the mud with all the stuff. It was just like, we got another game, like we're going out to play. Let's have some fun. Let's do what we do. I mean, our run got cut short, so I don't really have any words for that other than my own personal feelings. But those lessons, to be fair, for me is really just, how can I try to be better as a coach for the players earlier, right? If we're not going to make it further, what else can I do to make our environment better? What other coaches can we bring in to help them? Little things like that to improve kind of the professionalism of our environment.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys had a really great season. I remember when you guys beat Storm, because Sharon here, like, she's a season ticket holder for them, and we talk about them as well because they're a part of our valley here. But that was a big thing, right? Because they have a really successful program. I mean, I still don't know how they're fielding two teams in two separate leagues, but they still managed to have success in two separate leagues, and so that was a big time, you guys beating them. So
we have our own mixed feelings about them. We won't say it because Sharon is obviously a Storm lover. We don't want to split the panel up here. But I love what the Storm has done for so long. They've created an opportunity for a lot of players for a very, very long time. And I think it's important that you kind of push the envelope with a lot of these things, and new blood has a tendency to do that sometimes, and it's healthy for the game. It's called competition. I hope Sharon watched the celebration and, was there for that. And hopefully you liked and commented on some of the stuff that was going on as well. I think that was amazing. It was a beautiful part of the game as well. But I mean, to be honest, we just love playing the game, right? We want to win every game. We love what each team is doing individually, and we hope that with everything that we're doing, that it does challenge teams to continue to kind of elevate in their own space, in their own time, of however that works, right? So
we love competition. I mean, meaning this panel. Granted, when our favorite team like Sacramento Republic gets beat by Monterey Bay, we always kind of grimace because, Monterey Bay is not that good. But like, if they weren't that good for a couple of years, and I think this year is going to be different for them. They've made a lot of changes, just like the Roots have made a lot of changes. But I enjoy the competition. When you guys actually beat California Storm, it was like, oh my goodness, who is this Cargo team? And, what is the magic potion where they can actually knock off, a big contender? San Francisco, everybody goes up against them. And, when you can beat San Francisco, they used to be one of the, big contenders. So when you guys were like, when you beat the teams that are notoriously known to be better, and it's like, it's a whole new world. Like you said, it creates competition, and that is the best thing about sport, is competition. We like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of us do, not everybody does.
I enjoy it. I'm actually really excited for the Monterey women's team coming into the USL W, and that's going to be very cool. I think that's a very, very good addition.
Hotbed of soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a really nice away trip always, driving up there and playing up there. It's a good spot. Especially, I'm assuming they're playing at the same stadium, right? With the men's team?
Yeah, same stadium.
Cardinal Stadium, okay.
Yeah, that's a nice stadium. Some of us here, we've gone a few times already, and it's it's a really good spot. I mean, any soccer player would have fun playing there. I mean, it is artificial turf, but I still think it's seems like a cool.
Not a fan of the artificial turf, but whatever.
Believe us, we're not either. We're true football lovers through and through. Grass. There's nothing better than grass. That's why we loved UOP. UOP actually's field was very nice, low cut grass, very well maintained. For very long stints of time, and it's not something you usually see when it comes to grass, right? Because the maintenance and all that good stuff. But everybody's in turf because it's a lower maintenance cost, and I can play year round on it, and that's the world we kind of live in because we're here in America.
Yeah, no, it's a shame that Academica is now not in USL W, right? Because I know they're also another team that was known for taking really good care, right? Like out of a place you would never expect maybe to have a really good solid pitch, they do a good job. I wish all these other venues that are in cities, would actually learn from that and take better care.
It's funny pulling up onto Academica's fields in the middle of nowhere, and it's just perfect green grass to run on. You got to wonder what the water bill is, but it is nice.
Only they're close to it though, right? I mean, there's a lot of need for water around there.
Yeah.
So I guess they're doing something right there to bring some more water. All right. Well, Jared, I know you haven't said anything. Do you have any questions, Todd?
Well, I'm just hopeful that Stockton sports fans will recognize that, yes, they are the city of champions with the plural S. So it's not just the Stockton Kings that won the G League last year, which I still need to get a shirt for that as well, but also realize that the Cargo have hoisted their divisional title, and they may have to do it again this year. I mean, is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. But I like the Cargo's chances. And then also touching back on the yard as far as the food cart goes, as per our custom here, this has me wondering if the food cart's going to have any deep fried asparagus or bacon wrapped asparagus out there, since it is Stockton after all.
We do actually have a barbecue cart that could potentially do a little bit of that.
All right.
So
See, I'm working for my soccer foodies over here. So
there you go. Look, we're working on trying to do something special for the game opener, right? We won't lead it now. We'll wait till we kind of release it on Instagram. Stay tuned. It's hopefully going to be something special for, people of the Valley and the 209. So we hope to see everybody there. Obviously, our home opener is on May 16th. It will be at St. Mary's High School. We will obviously be doing that competition, but that will be where we kind of start everything going. Season starts May 9th. We actually play away at Monterey. So they just joined. So that'll be our kind of season opener. But we're looking forward to being out there and kind of introducing them into the USL W League. We're looking forward to that game and competition. But we hope, as many people can kind of make it out. And if you can't make it to a game, catch it on a stream. All right. I think it's a very exciting team to watch. It's not something you usually see in the women's side of the game, which is what we kind of strive for. You don't kind of fall asleep when you put it on TV. All right. That it's like, oh, I didn't see that come in, or look at that goal, or look at how, she beat the player. And so there's some special players on the team that like to be a bit cheeky, that like to test, and take players on and create some space. So our goal is to score a lot of goals this year, even more than we did last year. We do have a kind of a sponsorship where it's like every goal we score, they plant a tree. So we did that last year, and we did, I don't even know how many goals. Hannah might be able to tell you the number, but our goal is to obviously
30 something. I'm pretty sure.
So you got a forest. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Small
are
forest.
planting trees in the next couple weeks, actually. So that'll also go up on the Instagram and stuff. Fun.
So we're looking to score more, hopefully to double the forest. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need more teams to have that initiative. That's a good thing for the environment to have that. Now, one last thing. Are you guys still going to have the same pricing model for tickets as you did last year, where it was just fit as many people as you can to one car and you're good? Or are you guys going back to the ticket per person?
We are doing tickets per person. It's lower than it was per car. What we're doing instead to kind of help out those people that were coming in cars, because a lot of our youth club teams and stuff were doing that, which helps. We're doing a group pass. So buying 10 or more tickets, they're only $250 each. So that allows a lot of like the youth teams, big families, parents that are bringing out other people's kids, that sort of thing. It'll help them out.
Trying to keep it as low as possible.
Yeah.
Right. It's a hard thing to do because you obviously need to pay for people and staff and things like that. But what we did at UOP just wasn't necessarily the easiest for keeping up with the burn of finances because we don't actually make any money, unfortunately. But one of the big things is all of the money that we do make goes back into the team. This is not people make profit. It's what goes into the players and the housing and trying to take care of meals and paying for staff and all of our community programs like our free kid clinics, right? We do one of those every month that we will hold where any kid who's in the area that wants to come out, we do those for free. We're obviously trying to help kids in the area doing mentor programs for them as well. And those are things that they're not paying for. These are things that we're trying to help for the community and kind of raise the level of young players who look at these players like, man, I want to be like Hannah someday. I want to be like, these other players like Janelli in the area. How do I get that? Well, get a little bit closer, get behind the scenes, get to watch training, get some mentorship, right? And those kind of programs is where we kind of force a lot of our financing. And so we're always looking for anybody who's trying to support the vision, any sponsors or in-kind things. I know, Hannah's super modest about it, but for me, it's like, how do we, help raise more money for not only the team, but the community and all these community programs for them?
You should see what we can do with 2K. It's pretty great. We can do a lot with 2K.
Yeah.
I have one more question. So, the World Cup is coming this summer, but beyond that, the Women's World Cup will be in 5 years' time, heading to the US. Both on and off the field, thinking of that 5-year time horizon, what are you hoping that the Stockton Cargo has done before that World Cup, and where do you want Stockton to be in that 5-year time period?
I mean, hopefully we haven't been beaten yet. That would be a good start. No, we obviously want to win a USL W championship. I think that is something for our players to strive for, no matter what the team makeup is each year. But our vision for Cargo is really to be a place where young talent can come and learn and grow and produce talent. We want to be a hub. And we want to be able to move players pretty well. And we want to make sure that they're coming in and they're leaving completely different. And they're getting closer to whatever level they want to be at. That's our goal. And we should win championships if we're doing that correctly.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. This has literally been our vision since the beginning of what we were trying to do. So the more players, I guess the only thing I would add is we want players to be able to look at Cargo not as Stockton or not as USL W, but like, as she said, this is a place I know I can come get better. And I know if I go there for a year and I put that on my resume, when I leave here, people are looking at me like, oh, you played for that team. Oh, they produce quality, right? That's what we are trying to do and kind of create that little bit of a niche. So all walks of life.
Well, it looks like you've had some success with that, given that you had some of your players moving on to professional careers, higher professional careers. So congratulations on that. And I love your vision.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Hannah, Marek, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I mean, it's good for us to be able to, again, as Sharon mentioned earlier, hear the behind the scenes of like the teams and what goes on. Just so everyone listening or watching just knows that there's a lot of hard work, especially at the lower levels. There's a lot that you have to do, but it's nice to see the success on the field and just how much the team has grown each year. And I mean, we had here, I remember back when we had Lee at the beginning, before you guys even fielded a team, before the first game in history, and how excited he was. And just in knowing Lee personally, because I've interviewed him outside of this podcast on another podcast, and knowing his story, it's just really awesome to see that, you know, his dream is becoming a reality. And I want to see more of Lee like celebrating like that, because I mean, we all know, right? When we follow our favorite team, whenever they score a goal, we want to do the same thing. Sadly, we can't go on the field and do that. So it's nice Lee can be our representation out there.
And we're just so happy he's alive and with us. I mean, he went through the war backwards for a little while there. We're just really grateful he's around.
Absolutely. We thank you for having us. We thank you for, you know, giving us the time to speak with you guys and share our vision and story. And we hope that we can inspire more people and more young players that are looking, you know, to move on in the game. And we welcome anybody. We welcome all walks of life. So hopefully looking to have you guys in some cargo gear this year, you know, back-to-back champs, as Jared said. I didn't say it. Jared said it. I'm just saying it out loud. We'll take it. And next time I see Ryong and we're actually on here, he's going to be wearing something that's cargo. Good man.
And Marek and Hannah, you guys have just been so delightful. That's so funny. I'm glad you're kind of poking at Ryong. That's great.
Yeah, he's to be poking at, because he won our little competition we have here last season, and it was his first season, so we're all still a little bitter.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah.
Okay, Ryong, fire question. Who's winning USL W?
I mean, it's got to be Stockton, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
We're learning right. We're
right.
learning.
That's
the good
right.
stuff. I like that. We're on the right path.
He
Oh.
knows his stats. He's done good with predictions, so well, let's hope he gets this one too.
We'll take it. We appreciate you guys for having us. Enjoy the rest of your evening and good luck this year with Republic. I know you guys are striving for big things, especially with all the moves that are making and the stadiums and all that good stuff. So I'm loving what we're seeing.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Hopefully we'll be doing this after season as well.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stop by anytime. No, seriously. Anytime you guys want to pop on, just give us a shout.
Cool. That would be very
We
cool.
love it.
Sounds good. Well, good luck with the season, and yeah, we'll be chatting with you guys sometime later on in the
Awesome.
season.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. All right, and we're back again. Thank you to Hannah and Marek for joining us here on the podcast. Yeah, what do you guys think? There's a lot going on with the cargo this season. I mean, it's nice when they have these innovative ideas like the yard. I mean, yeah, let's see more of that with other teams, because it's always great when you have that community before games. I mean, we see it with Sac Republic, right, and the tailgating. If we didn't have that, I mean, we didn't have that at some point, right? I think games weren't the same, right, Sharon? I know you regularly attend the tailgates, and you remember the days before tailgates, and it just wasn't quite the same, right, to not have your own space for them.
Yeah, kind of. You know, but the club has done a good thing. You know, they have the kids zone inside, and they have other things. Once you enter the stadium gates, there's things going on. But the tailgate is definitely bomb. It's really fun. But if they're planning on having something that's all game long, that even makes it more fun. You know.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to the season again. As they mentioned, starts in May 16th for a home opener for them. So check them out. I mean, you guys heard, like, tickets are super affordable, and you're also going to have this experience going on with the yard. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and move on to some Sac Republic news, because, again, as we mentioned before, it seems like every time we record a podcast, they present a new player, so we're looking to see who joins the Republic here less than a week for the first game to start, because you never know, tomorrow they'll probably tell us we have a new third goalkeeper or something, right? But let's talk about our new signing, Aaron. midfielder. And let's go ahead. If you guys are watching here on the screen, we'll be sharing his bio here. So Aaron, where does he come to us from? Well, he was actually out in Scotland playing with St. Johnstone. Previously, though, he actually was playing with North Texas Soccer Club. It's a MLS Next Pro team, pretty much a feeder club for FC Dallas. And then before that, he was playing in his home country of Ghana with Bechem United. I don't know if I said that correctly, but Bechem United was who he was playing with. He's 20 years old, defender. He's about 5 foot 10 inch is his height, so tall guy. And then he's also played for the national team for Ghana. He's actually played for some of the under categories, the under 20s, the under 23s, and then with the senior team, he actually has one game with them, which is actually quite cool because you guys remember in other World Cups, past World Cups, I'm trying to remember exactly which one. I think maybe it was 06. They've had really like good teams, right? Competitive sides. So I think it's cool that he actually was able to make an appearance with them. But Rian, I know you do your like full analysis on the new players. So tell us more about Aaron and what we can expect.
Yeah, so for Aaron, what I'm thinking for him is he's gonna be in the defensive midfield. He does have experience playing as center back, so he could play there as well. He's 20 years old, which is young, and he is already getting caps for the Ghanaian national team, which, as Louis said, this is an established nation at the World Cup. They've pulled off some great results in the World Cup. I'm not going to say anything against the United States, but you know, it is what it is. But this is another midfield signing, another midfield signing. Probably. I would probably expect him to see him in the midfield, but you know, he can move back to the back line if needs be. It's just I'm now really curious how this team is gonna line up against Tulsa on week 1 of the season, because there's a lot of competition for these midfield spots, and who is gonna get that is only up to Neil Collins, and this is some tough decisions to make. But yeah, welcome to the club, Aaron. You know, talented, young. You know, he's got great traits for the Republic.
Yeah, no, one more midfielder. I guess Wikipedia had it as a defender. I guess maybe you could play both positions there. But yeah, just another one for the team.
Well, here's the hoping that Aaron Essel is our championship vessel. Let's hold out hope for that.
Nice rhyming.
Yeah.
So defensive midfielder, I mean, like we already have, we have a couple already. We noticed that Arturo would drop into that role. You know, it remains to be seen how these guys stack up against each other as to who actually is going to get that spot, because we shifted, as we talked last week, the team had shifted to essentially 2 center back to outside wing back formation. So that frees up more opportunities to the midfield to build the attack. So this Aaron could fit in nicely into that system. But then we also have Kay, who's a veteran, who has played in that role. We've got Pep Casas, who kind of was sliding around in that role, but not very visible, and Arturo. And then Danny, I mean, I know he's probably more accustomed to supporting the attack, but he was also rotating through in a defensive midfielder role when I saw the match, when, you know, John and I were watching, well, and all the other people who watched. So this is going to be interesting, considering that we have done well against Colorado Springs Switchbacks, but we couldn't score against them. Apparently we had a lot of opportunities. Apparently we were in their half a lot. This is just the buzz that I picked up from people who were at the match, but we just weren't lucky, you know. And that Colorado Switchbacks, they scored on a turnover. essentially. So those are hard to defend when you're backtracking, so to speak. So there you go. We'll see. Tulsa's a mighty power. I mean, if you look at what the USL show has said about Tulsa and others, Tulsa's a power. They didn't used to be, but they are now. They're legit. So it'll be fun. And everybody needs to be at that match to cheer our guys on. And I can't wait to start doing our predictions, Louise. But we do have another bit of news to share, but I'll let you guys keep talking.
Yeah, the thing I was a little, I guess maybe not as surprised because we didn't really get scores for other games, was that this game wasn't really reported by Sacramento Republic, right? We had to find out through the Colorado Instagram page, right? So, yeah, and I get it. I mean, it's a loss, but I feel like maybe for future seasons, they definitely need to report more on like preseason. I get it. Some games are closed door, but I think we need to hear more, right? Like, oh, this happened. Just a quick picture. We're not asking for like a video of like the goal, any goals that are scored in preseason, but I think just someone snap a picture and just, put a graphic together. Boom. Let us know what the scores are, so that way we can know, right? Like, oh, this was the score. There are some goals. Mention the goals and things that would be great for people to be in tune, right, with the team. So that's my only thing with this, right, is that we should be more aware of what's going on there. But I mean, 1-0 loss at Colorado. We know it's difficult to play there in general, and some of these guys have probably never played there before. So I think it's not a bad result. Again, preseason, you get to try different things out. So not a cause, I think, of concern for us to worry of losing, I think, out there. So yeah. But Sharon, you said we had another bit of news?
Sure.
You want to share it?
We have a new president and GM, Tim Holt. And we talked around it last time, and then the day after it was announced. And so I am actually very thrilled that we were able to bring on Tim Holt, who's kind of like one of the best in the business. His deep experience for many years at USL as president of USL. What's not to like? I mean, here's somebody who actually knows all the layers, and he's coming in he knows soccer, he knows players. So he's coming in and he's going to do both roles. He's going to do president and GM. That's not it's not diminishing our head coach, Neil Collins' role in helping with the GM responsibilities. I think the two of them will share it very nicely together. And darn well that they know each other. They've known of each other for a very long time. So this is a kind of a really cool marriage in a way. And if you've listened to any of Tim's interviews or anything that he has said, and also the club statements, everybody is glowing about this. And it was such synchronicity that Tim took a sabbatical, I don't know, 3 months ago, right? Or maybe it was a year ago, who knows? He took a sabbatical purposefully just to, and then this job falls in his lap. And we're the ones that are benefiting. There's no downside to this hire. There's no downside to Tim Holt. I remember him when I was the early days working for the club. When he would come around, he was just a real breath of fresh air. He was not a pompous ass like some other executives can be, or even corporate sponsors. They act like whatever. And that's fine. They can, because they're shelling out a lot of money. But this guy, who was like the head of the league, was coming to our matches and was the most friendly person and the most genuine person. And he still is. When I chatted with him last weekend, one-on-one, he was so excited to hear more from fans. And he was like one of those open door policy, don't know how busy he's going to be really. But, it's like, if there's anything you want to talk about with respect to the way things are going, he goes, come talk to us, come him. So, it's just right now there's no downside. The only thing he has to come up to speed with is he has to learn who all the players are with respect to building a new stadium. All of the not politicians, but the people that help grease the skid. No, I'm saying it wrong. You guys know what I mean, right? It's like people that are signing off on permits. He has to know those people so that when his contractors, and the people that we have hired to build the stadium or that we have hired to do these things, that when he's in those meetings with the people that are working alongside, that he knows who they are and he can talk, he knows what their role is. Because it's really important when you're alongside people that we're all trying to get to the same spot. It's important to know their role so that you're not trying to get something from somebody or ask something of somebody and that's not their job. You need to know everybody's role. And that's the other thing that he did say, that aside, is one of the things that he's here to do is not to rearrange anything that's going on with Sacramento Republic, but to get to know all. He's a sponge. He wants to kind of like learn from everybody who's at the club. And I think that's fabulous. That's a great attitude to have when you're coming into a well-run organization. Let them run, let the people do what they're good at doing, and then bring in additional talent. Like, we're still short a vice president of marketing, that level. And there's a couple other higher positions that we're working on backfilling. So he's going to be at the helm of all of that, and he's just the person to do it.
Yeah, and I know you were hinting at us at it being him right last week on the podcast, and then of course hours after the podcast has been posted, the team's like, all right, just as with the players, like, well, here's the announcement already. Just talk about it already. But of course, that's when it happened hours after that. But yeah, he seems like he has so much experience. I mean, you already told us all the things there, and there's no better person than someone who understands the league, right? I mean, he was USL president for so many years, which I was like, that's amazing. And so who else but someone like that, right? Who has that vision of here's where we were at before and here's where we're going, and understands the team from the beginning. You said he was coming out to matches, and I'm sure for all of us who've been fans since the beginning, that's great news for us to know that someone who actually saw how the team's been progressing throughout the years is now going to be leading us and knows exactly what the fans are going to want, right? Like, just how the team's culture has been like, because that's the most important thing, right? I think is team culture. We don't want that going away ever. Not that, I mean, new stadium wouldn't affect that, of course, but you want someone who can keep that. And so it's nice he has that open door policy, right? Or at least he's going to try and be available as much as he's able to, right? To talk to people.
He remembers the Warren Smith days, and anybody who can go back and remember, some of the things that really elevated Sacramento Republic, when somebody comes and has stories from then, and then stories from when he was with San Antonio, he said it was very intimidating at those times to come to when San Antonio would come play in Sacramento. He said it was really, it was quite intimidating, and he will now wear our hat in a way of, we're going to beat San Antonio, because he doesn't work for them anymore. He works for us.
Oh yeah, no, that's great news that we were able to steal once again one of Uncle Ruckus's own, right? One of the pesto. Sally Christian left back, but it's nice when you get one.
Podcast winner dinner.
Oh yeah. That's I know it's everyone's been waiting for that. So yeah, I have to do a new intro for that, by the way. So if you guys wouldn't mind, this is going to be completely improvised, but I'm going to try and just come up with it right now here on the fly. All right, y'all, it's time for Podcast Winner Dinner 2026. We have a few different categories, as you guys know from years past. Defending champion from last year was actually Rian, but who will be the defending champion this year? I don't know. Sorry, hold on. Not defending champion. Let me redo that. I know it's going to be... I had to cut that part out. Here, let me restart here. It's time for podcast Winner Dinner 2026. Last year's champion was Rian. It was his first year. This year, he might not be as lucky. We'll see. So it's time to actually make our predictions for the 2026 edition. All right, let's go ahead and give all the predictions. We're going to have a few different ones here as we spoke about at the beginning of the podcast. We're going to first predict the overall season picks, and then we're going to actually talk about the first game against Tulsa, give our picks for that. But you guys remember last year, those season picks were really critical. So again, at the end of the season, we might be looking back at this, and that might be declaring the winner, because that's why Rian won. So let's just putting that out there.
It's the only reason I was winning. And then Rian, and I think Jared even beat me with whatever.
I had a little time in the penthouse. I'm not gonna lie, just like it was brief, but it was nice.
Yeah.
All that matters is who's on top at the end, Sharon.
So yeah, let's go ahead and then give our predictions here, and also we actually now have a backup for one of the categories that we didn't have a backup last year. I'm trying to remember, it was either yellow card or assist leader. One of those two didn't have a backup. We're doing backups for all three now. So we got a top goal scorer we predict, our backup, which if you guys are watching, for those of you listening, we have a disclaimer saying the backup pick is only going to apply if our first pick isn't available for more than 50% of the season. And so we can look at games and all that to determine that at the end of the season there. So each one has a backup. So top goal scorer has a backup, yellow card leader also has a backup, and then the assist leader has a backup. So they get injured, they can't show up to more than half of the games this season, then that's when the backup kicks in. And last season, or I guess I should say in the last few seasons, the backup has kicked in because we've been surprised. So there's been some players that have unfortunately gone through injuries here in the past that have missed a few games. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start with the top goal scorer. So we'll go in our usual typical screen order here. Sharon, who's your top goal scorer for the year and also your backup?
I'm going to cry foul. I don't have a yellow card, but I think the person who won last year should go first in their picks. But that's just me.
Okay, I mean, there you go. All right, Rian, you got the assist.
I'm fine with that. I'm not going to be a sore loser. Yeah, so the funny thing about the Republic this season, I was talking with Valor from Whale City Soccer. Sorry, I forgot for a second. About how in flux this lineup is and how we can't really guess on who is gonna be the starters come opening day and who's gonna be taking up the spot. So it's a real crapshoot as to who gets the minutes. But for goal scorer, I know Malengo had the hat trick in the preseason friendly, but I'm gonna go with something different. I'm gonna go with Edwards as my goal scorer.
And he's my
and
backup.
Malengo as my backup. Yeah.
Oh my God, we're just opposite. So you could just type in Malengo for my top goal scorer with Edwards as the backup. I swear to you. This is gonna be tight. Okay, good.
Well, it's funny because I also have Malengo as top goal scorer and then Edwards as the backup. So that's that. Jared, you got your pick?
Malengo's a pretty popular man at this moment. So, I mean, I've got him as my main goal. But for my backup, I'm going for Mr. K, because at least that way, once he gets goals going, Sacramento goal scored by okay.
Now, just for since who's Mr. K?
South. That was a South Park reference because Mr. Mackey is known for saying okay, as in okay.
Oh, okay, all right. Like who is it though again?
Mr. Mackey. He's one of the teachers in South Park.
No. The backup person is K. K-A-Y-E.
Yes. That's
Oh,
that's
okay,
the backup.
okay.
That's the backup.
No,
Because-
Jared wants some South Park guy as his backup.
Oh,
That's what Luis thought you were saying.
sir, have you been pre-gaming?
Doesn't have alcohol.
I specifically said my backup is Mr. Kaye, our new signing, because anytime he scores, we want to yell Sacramento Republic goal scored by Okay.
Okay, now that makes sense. I thought you were referring to. I mean, it could have been Davian, right? Okay, okay, bro.
Luis, we're in regular season now. You got to speed up. You got to catch up with us.
Well, we don't know everybody's last names. Some of us don't even remember their first names, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's still we're still trying to figure out. Wait, which one? Wait, Edwards. Wait, didn't he leave last season? Like, wait, we still have an Edwards. So yeah, that's. But all right, cool. Well, that made for a funny bit right there. Yellow card leader. Let's see. This one's going to be an interesting one. So again, defending champion. You're going to keep going first.
Yeah. For yellow cards, I'm gonna go with a player in the midfield. I think he's gonna be a real dog in the midfield, a real physical presence. I'm gonna go with Crisostomo. And back up, I'm gonna go with the yellow card leader. Was he the yellow card leader last year? I'm gonna go with Benitez as my backup.
So he's my first pick, with Pep being my backup.
Oh, okay.
Pep Casas. Well, we should use last names.
Oh yeah. Just
Yes, yeah.
all right. For mine, let's see. I have Forster Jago as being.
He's a hothead.
And that's just purely based on your guys' conversation. You guys described him, and I'm like, okay, that's usually how it goes. But as a backup, though, I'm sorry, I have to bring him back, Freddie.
Yeah, sorry, Freddie.
God, poor Freddie's getting the abuse already. We haven't even kicked off. Damn, it's a shame.
Is
But
that who you're picking? Is that who you're gonna pick? Is Freddie and abuse him a little bit?
I haven't said it yet, have I? With that in mind, my penalties leader, since he gets picked on quite a bit, it's going to be Michel Benitez. And then backup, only because I know the referees are drunk off the haterade. Anytime he takes the field, it's got to be my council member, Jared Timmer. They're always picking on him.
There you go.
Yeah, no, you're right. They could have.
I do like the pick of Danny Crisostomo, though. I think he's going to get involved with a lot of things. However, between Arturo and Michel, they're going to be touching the ball a lot. So we'll see. But Ajago, I think, is a fair pick as well. Even if he only plays 10 minutes, he's going to get a yellow card. It's kind of like Seba. It's like he could be on the field for a minute and they'd give him a yellow.
Yeah, or a Luis Felipe situation, right? Remember?
Yeah.
All right, now moving on to assist leader. All right, Bjorn.
Okay, with the direction that I'm hearing that the Republic are going to be taking this season, it's hard to pick against Gur, but I'm going to go with Arturo Rodriguez as my assist leader. And for backup, it's hard to leave K not to mentioned here, so I'm going to go with Mark Anthony K as my backup here.
So I also have Arturo as my assist leader, but I am going to hang with Jack just in case Arturo something happens. Just because Jack is stellar, and he's created so many chances. But we're playing up the gut more, We're playing. Memo was in the running. Was Memo in your running, Rion?
Yeah, he was considered. Yeah,
he was, because he's actually supposed to do more with the strikers, and watch. None of us will pick him, and he'll be the one.
Yeah. Well, I went with Jack last year, and I'm going with Jack again because he's the experienced guy on the squad, and I feel like this is a season to get the top assist leader. But as a backup, I do have Benitez. I think he can also be in the running there.
All right, and then for my assist leader, Gur's proven himself. I mean, the man is in there, out there. He'll do everything to set shots up. So Gur's going to be my main choice, and then backup. I'm seeing some promise in the kid, so I'm going with Blake Willie for my backup.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
There you
There's
go,
the
that's-
overall season picks. We share some, others don't. So yeah, that's top goal scorers, and we'll see at the end of the season.
Just watch that be the one. Oh my god.
Could be you're the one who went and then go Malongo. So well, actually, you did, but as a backup. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
You're a little different, Brian, than a couple of us and a couple of the picks. Yep.
Yeah. All right, now let's move on to our first picks. So let's see how our season starts. So a reminder, we have the final score. We have who's going to score first, a backup score, the first assist, first yellow card, what team will get the first yellow card, what Sac Republic player will get the first yellow card, and those are going to be our options. So, Rian, again, as the defending champion, you're going to go first once more.
Quick question: we're doing double points for final score, right?
Yeah, actually, good point. That's true. We talked about it last season. So, final score will get double points. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So, double points for final score. So if one of us gets it right, or not, well, we get the same one. Any one of us gets the right final score, double points, 2 points get added. So we're going to actually give you a higher prize for getting the right score. Last season, I think some of us got some of them. I think, Sharon, maybe you got the most. And so, yeah, so good.
Alrighty. First game of the season is, oh my goodness, it's going to be fun. Tulsa defending Western Conference champions, but they are without Taylor Galahera, who is their leading goal scorer, who moved on to Sporting Kansas City. The question for Tulsa is, are there replacements enough to replace Taylor Galahera? I don't think so, honestly. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win at home for Sac Republic. For the goal scorers, I'm going to go with Malongo as my first goal scorer, with Edwards as my backup.
Same. You must
First
have seen my sheet.
assist, I am gonna go. Let's just roll with my season picks here. I'm gonna go with Arturo Rodriguez. First yellow for the team. Tulsa led the league in yellow cards last season, so I'm gonna go with them for first yellow here. For first Sac Republic yellow, I'm gonna go with Benitez.
All right, Sharon.
This is funny. This is funny because you would think that I was taking a page out of Rian's book. But I'm actually going with a 1-1 tie.
Oh, good.
Yep. And our first score is Malongo. Backup is going to be Kyle. And then my assist is Arturo. But don't we have a backup on that?
No, that's just for overall.
Oh, okay. I thought last year we had a backup. If they didn't see the pitch. Okay.
Do we have backup? Actually, you know what?
I think we
Let's
did.
go ahead and add a backup. Yeah. But yeah, let's add a backup. That's fair. So, Rian, you want a backup for Arturo?
Yeah, let's go with Gur for my backup.
Okay, you must have read my little sheet. Sheet. Same.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because they're really trying to fight for first place in the first week.
And so my yellow, it's going to be us because we always seem to get the first yellow at home. But hopefully it will be Tulsa because they're jerks. I don't know. But I can't decide between Pep, Michelle, or Denny for the yellow card, the person. I'm going to go with Pep because I have a funny feeling he's going to do stupid stuff.
Oh, you really are. You've been banking on Pep, right? Or you put a lot of pressure on that, which just makes sense again because he's. Well, I always resort back, right? He's from the Barcelona Academy.
I think he pulled a yellow in the game in the match that I saw. I think he had a yellow card that day.
He probably did. Yeah, I know you guys mentioned he wasn't really, or he wasn't really at his best, right? Like you guys were.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he gets caught with the ball, and then I think he'll get mad and whatever. But Blake Willie's a good, solid pick for the first yellow card. You know how it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right, for me, final score, I'm gonna go with the Sac 2-1 win there. For the first goal scorer, I'm gonna go with Malongo as well, and then backup Edwards. And then, by the way, I'm not copying that. I'm actually just looking at my other side of the screen here. Look at my picks. For the first assist, I have Arturo backup as Jack. Again, I'm not copying. I actually have the thing on the side here. For the first yellow card, I have a feeling it's first week. Referees are going to be still in preseason mode, so they're going to give us the first yellow card. For the first player to get the yellow card, I'm going to go. I'm sorry, but I'm going with you, Freddie. The first yellow. So that's my picks. Jared?
All right, I'm hoping I'm wrong, but knowing how Tulsa has revamped their program the last year, now they're actually a decent threat. I am going to go with a 2-2 tie between two teams. As far as our goal score, I am slightly tempted to say Malongo, but I'm going to go a different direction, and I am going to go with Memo Rodriguez. Somehow he gets open, punches it just a little bit at an angle. Might get one there. My backup is going to be, I'm going to go Pierre Reedy. See some good things from him.
I hope he's not injured.
Yeah, we're definitely hoping for healthy. Because we need all the health we can get. For assist, I am going to go with I'd say Kyle Edwards. Just throw that out there. And for backup, I'm going to go with Blake Willie. And then given FC Tulsa and how they love the Olympics with all the diving calls they get, I'm going to say Sacramento's going to get the yellow card first. And then I detect a bit of spiciness from my council member. So Jared Timmer gets the yellow. I'm hoping not, but the refs, they got an eye on him, for some reason. No reason at all. Just let the man play.
Well, let's hope he does play, because remember, he's still coming off the hip surgery, and Pierre Reedy was injured 2 weeks ago, so he was not on the bench. Just FYI. Okay,
well, if I may revisit that then, given that information, because yes, I did forget that he was rehabbing. The man puts in a banger.
He did dress on that preseason match. He was dressed, so he's ready to go, but he just,
let's stand by it. Let's stand by it then.
Okay. All right. Well, good picks. The Memo Rodriguez one. You never know, right? You guys may have seen, right, that he scored against us back when he was with RGB Toros, right? I don't know if you guys saw that clip where he was actually surprised. He actually didn't remember that he had scored against us, and then they show the goal that he ends up scoring a few years back.
Well, now he has to do it with his new club. Those are the rules.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's that. Always great to see us not agreeing on any final score, because then it just makes it more interesting when we're out at games trying to see who gets what. So,
I hope Rihanna is right, though, because Danny needs a shutout.
But do you want him to start in first place, though, sure?
Hey, that might be the only thing he gets.
No. I want to see a line of green next to my name. That'll be great.
He's changing colors to blue.
Oh, it's blue now?
I don't know. I just made that up because you said green.
Just a line of any color you want, Louise. That's what I want to see.
Red. We'll have red, but red's when you don't get a point, though.
What? No.
Ooh.
So there's different scores there, but of course, if Malongo gets a goal, then Jared, you're going to be out of point there. So that's the only thing when you agree with one or the first assist. But who knows? Hey, maybe Jared could be first place. Jared kind of picked the other one aside from the first yellow card. But hey, someone's going to get a point, right? We know with the first yellow card, so it'll either be Rian or the rest of us three. Rihanna's the only one who said Tulsa, so we're gonna be pretty mad at the referee if Tulsa gets the first yellow card. As much as obviously we don't want Sac to get any yellow cards, but for the competition purposes, as much as we'll be shouting at the referee, we're gonna be like, wait, we're a point ahead of Rihanna already. So that's gonna determine the standings. That's probably the first thing, because usually yellow cards happen.
I'm gonna have to yell at Pep from the stands. Get into him! Come on, clock the guy. I'm gonna have to like get him all riled up. Or is that all you can do? Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, so, yep.
That just made me realize, but the season starting now, we have the revival of Tums Tuesday. The time that we find out who's officiating the match.
Oh, John Crawford.
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
It's time to shine.
They usually gets released Tuesdays, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tums Tuesdays. I'm gonna write something. Yeah. Okay. I gotta find it. Where is our group chat? There it is. Tums Tuesdays.
Hopefully it's hopefully it's not someone that we mentioned here on the podcast that we're not a fan of, right? Because I know Jared's coming to town, but I don't think Jared wants to see one of those like, not favorable like referees in the match, right?
Oh, if it's any of our illustrious graduates of that particular university, yeah, I ain't gonna be happy.
Yeah, which, by the way, speaking of the person that is named after that university, we haven't seen him in a while, right? I feel like maybe he's gone to other leagues or he's retired already.
I think he's officiated a couple matches last year, to my understanding, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm talking about Melbourne. I feel like there's been other graduates that have come by a few times, but no, not him. No.
Elvis, Elton. There's been a few others.
We can't start the season with that. Come on, no. So that's that. We'll see how things go, but all good picks, y'all. We'll see at the end of the season who gets what, especially those end of season ones. I'm glad we have a few different ones. So yeah.
So good news on the MLS front, not so much affecting us, but all the West Coast teams, well, actually all the California teams won this past weekend. LAFC, LA Galaxy, San Diego, and San Jose. All the California teams knocked their competition off.
Oh, well.
Go California.
That LAFC win against Inter Miami at the Coliseum, that made a statement.
Last weekend, that was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, like more wins like that for them, because that was a cool thing.
And Miami was looking like a dog against Orlando City until second half. They were behind 2-0, and then they came from behind and won 4-2. It's like, who does that?
There's any team I want them to beat is Orlando, so I'm glad.
I thought about that. Okay, whatever. Okay, so we digress. We went MLS. Sorry about that. I know that's the league that shall not be named, but you never know where we're going to go.
You never know, right? And this, with the new stadium, like that opens the door to more things. But we're happy in the USL right now, though. I feel like those days of like desiring it are gone, at least for me, right? I feel like USL is good. We got a new stadium. Thank you. All we want. But
the league has 1 week to sort out the contract agreement stuff. The players were given authorization to strike. Whether they do or don't is still up to the association. So let's cross the fingers that our predictions for Tulsa will hold and that we actually get to be all together on opening day.
Oh yeah.
Quail City Soccer did a good piece, a couple pieces about the contract negotiations that are ongoing, and from one day to the next, the authorization to strike. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at what they've done in capturing the essence of stuff, take a peek if you want to understand it a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did that, right? And if they do, I think as much as some people might maybe not think too much about that, which they definitely should, because again, these are livelihoods of like people, and they deserve to be paid what they should be paid, right, and get the benefits they deserve as well. But just hearing what happened over in Georgia, right, with South Georgia Tormenta, which some of you might recognize him from the Open Cup, right? They're a name that we've seen around there. It's just really embarrassing, right? And so if that's the route that they take, then just for people to understand, right? Like those things need to happen, and it's not to affect the fans, but it's because they deserve to get paid what they should be paid. So just putting that out there. I mean, we're still going to be going out there. I know Jared has a flight there in Sacramento, so if we have to deviate from that and do something else out in Sacramento while we're out there, then that's fine. They'll be understanding.
So it's interesting. I'm going to digress just a little bit. Anytime you have an employer and an employee relationship and something goes like Tormenta, there have been many, many businesses that close the doors and the employees are out. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I wonder, okay, what makes, and this is, I don't want anyone to take this right or wrong, what makes one business more sacred than another, that when a business decides that, yeah, we're sad for the employees, but when a business decides that they have to close because they can't financially meet any of their obligations, is, I need you guys to tell me what you think about a situation. Why is a business where you have a pro sport different from a small grocery store that has to close for one reason or another?
Yeah, I mean, seeing has I've only been here 2 years, and I've already seen some businesses come and go here in Kilgore. I mean, it definitely does a number of uncivic pride, or has the capability to. I mean, the fact that we've already lost Lone Star Latte here, so now as far as a caffeine source, there's been some folks that have been upset about it, not even knowing that it was closed. And when you have a team fold, I mean, you have that sort of extension to that club. You follow that club. You're not necessarily live or die, but you're pretty loyal to that club. And when it turns out to fold, I mean, that just vacates a part of the heart. Same thing with a lot of the small businesses that you see every day. That they're trying to make the money as well, but both have their challenges when it comes to making sure they're meeting their financial goals and things of that nature. I mean, there's some different variety on it, but they both hit the same. I mean, to be honest.
So if I'm not going to get into it while we're online, I just have too many what ifs, or how does it? I have too many of those sorts of questions, and I'm not the one. I'm not an expert. I mean, I have been a part of a union, and in the past, but if I was actually working for a private entity and they decided that they couldn't continue operating anymore, I would have to find another job. If I was still looking to support family or do whatever, I would have to find another job. Soccer is different because the provision of housing and the moving of families. But how is that any different than a different corporate where they paid to move you to their location, and a month later they shutter their doors, and now you're in a new location that you just got moved to, and no income? It's just so realistically, we're stuck as fans feeling so strongly for our players because we want this sport. It's not, it's I think it's bigger. It's a little bit different, but I mean, we all have to eat, so we all go to a grocery store. We buy our food, and that's a repetitive thing. And so is attending a sporting match. It's just, it's a tough one. There's no fair way to look at any of this unless somebody had like $1 bazillion and could make sure that the club's livelihood, all of the club's livelihoods continued on. And, and sometimes I wonder, does the league itself, the owners of the league, do they have the funds to step in and prop up these teams? They might. They're getting money. I mean, if you listen to that podcast from January with Kaylor Hodges, and they talked about the money, the revenues coming in to the ownership group. I know we shouldn't be talking about this right now. I mean, this is a tough one because it's right before, our opening season match. But these are the things that have been going through my pea brain. And I've been just, it's tough. It's a tough one. Anyhow, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rian. Sorry, Luis.
No, you're right. They should be treated as a business, right? Because they're making money, right? There's no club that's just out there just to, just throw money out at people. That they're a business, and therefore they should still be treated as such. And I do think that the league is the one who has to put the pressure and put the checks in place, right? If a team's gonna fold, let it happen end of season, so that way players kind of start planning ahead of time as much as they're able to. But never when you're getting ready to start a season. Never an example like you mentioned earlier, with the Tormenta, where some players were already moved out. They were already like trying to like establish their new life in this new location. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, we're shutting down. It's like, didn't they know that ahead of time, right? Like, how do you just realize that after you've, signed some players and done all that? But I think that's where the league should step in. And they should have the funds to be able to, properly compensate, some of the players there, because they do get quite a bit money, right? Because they have a lot of good sponsorships and broadcast agreements, and I'm gonna mention there's a lot of money that happens, with all those things. So we'll see what happens. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye out for that. If anything goes on, if there's any strike of any sort that happens, I'm sure that'll get mentioned ahead of time, so no one will feel like, oh, they just told us day off, right? I feel like we would probably find out sometime this week. I don't think it would all happen Saturday morning, right? That we'd hear this. So yeah. But we'll see. But it's good that you're mentioning this just so people are aware. Something happens, here's a little backstory on it. But definitely the USL show did a good job with that. So if you guys want to go and listen to what they had to say about that, go and check that out so you get a little more information about what's going on. All right, well, last final parting words before we say have a good morning, good night, and then catch us next week as we talk about the game against Tulsa.
He's going to pick one of us. Somebody start talking.
Let's go with you, Sharon.
So let's not let Tulsa be king. Tulsa King. Sorry, I haven't watched the show yet, but I know there's a show called that. Oh, yeah. And let's not let them do that. Sac Republic. Thank you to our guests who came on earlier tonight. Appreciate you for doing that. And thank you, everybody, for listening or watching. And if you want to be on the podcast, just shoot us a note and we'll work on it. Okay. Go Republic.
Thank you again to our guests from the Stockton Cargo for joining us tonight. The league starts, assuming it starts on time, this Friday with Lexington versus Louisville as the curtain raiser. That's gonna be a fun one. In the week leading up to our match, I will have a lot of stuff on the site. I'm trying to push out as much articles as possible. I'm trying to get the spreadsheet set up. Go Republic.
All right. Once again, thanks again to our guests from the Stockton Cargo. Gracious to have y'all here. A couple quick items out from out here in Texas. Atletico Dallas are already starting their push for 2027 season ticket deposits. So if you're in the area, definitely check that out. League One, the Rodeo C that plays in Celia, Texas. They are due to have their crest and jersey reveal on my birthday on the 27th. So, Rodeo SC, if y'all listen, I take a size 3X or any promo material you want to give me. And then finally, League Two, the Fort Worth Vaqueros have announced their season tickets are for sale. They have something unique. They have, if you purchase season ticket holders tickets for this season, you get a special kit that acts as your ticket. So might be something to look into for Republic FC, just saying. And I will see y'all there Saturday against FC Tulsa live in the house. Let's go Republic. And I got some of the beers as well. So let's do this.
Yeah, and as for me, again, you guys mentioned it. I'm going to mention it as well. Thank you to our guests earlier for joining the podcast. Always great to hear more of what the Cargo has going on. Be on the lookout. We'll probably have more interviews even throughout the season, and we like to add them here to our weekly podcast, so you guys can also listen to more of the Central Valley soccer and what's going on, especially this year, because there's a lot going on and throughout different leagues here. But aside from that, I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast as usual. I mentioned it last week, but we're seeing the numbers rise up week by week, more than what we were receiving last year in terms of listens. So for us to have any growth of any sort is really cool. And it just goes to show that what we're doing is great, but always send us a message, contact us, let us know what we could be doing. I know we've been doing this for a while, but we always take any suggestions, or if you have, any person you want to see on the podcast, maybe a local team that you want us to interview, let us know, because our platform does have that capability of doing live shows. We've done them in the past. It's been a while since we've done one, but we're more than happy to do a live show as well with any local club. So just let us know. Contact us at sacsoccerpod.com. And also on there, you can actually read Rian's Solasquel blog. He has a lot of blogs he's been posting. You can get deep dives on any player that we've signed this season on there, as well as weekly reports on every game. He goes into detail on that. So check it out on our website there. You can also listen to the podcast. You can watch the podcast episodes all on the website. So again, check it out, sacsoccerpod.com. All right, y'all. With that being said, again, we're going to be here next week. We're probably going to be recording on Monday instead of a Sunday. So the podcast will be out hopefully by Monday night, maybe Tuesday. We'll see you there, but just a heads up on that, because we're going to be traveling out to the game, and then Jared's going to be there, so we'll let Jared enjoy his Sunday as well, as he's going to be in Sacramento. But with that being said, y'all, have a good morning, good night whenever you're listening or watching, and you'll hear us or watch us next week here on Stay There Podcast.
Happy birthday, Tina Carlson, and go Tower Bridge Battalion. I'm glad you guys had a pub crawl. Cue the music.